I'm going to see if I can get some pictures in here real quick of how they get ready for Halloween in Portland, Oregon. Time. This one looks crooked. Doesn't matter, Kelly.
No, it doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter if it's crooked.
You did get that one going.
Yeah.
How cool!
It's flashing too.
What do we want?
Closer this way. If it can. Yeah, right there.
These are all gone.
Well, what a month, what a month. I'm sorry I've been gone so long. I feel guilty about that, but that was a really long trip for me. Went to Oregon to see my daughter for 10 days, and that knocked me down because I was having knee problems really bad before I left and really hurting. And then the whole time there, it was, might as well have been snowing as far as I was concerned. Being from Southern California, it was in the 40s during the day, every day that I was there. And then I came home, and early the next morning, I got in at about midnight, and early the next morning, one of my dearest friend's sister, the guy that I've been trading massage back and forth with for 5 years, called and told me that her brother had had a stroke and died. Actually, not even died. He'd had a stroke the night before, but he was in the hospital. They were waiting for the rest of his family to get there. He was brain dead. And on top of being exhausted, depressed, having a sore knee, the next day I had a spider bite me on the side of the head and on the back, and it was all swollen up. It's gone down quite a bit today. I noticed it's still a little red around the edges. So I thought, okay. I kept thinking I got to do a video today. But anyway. So today I'm better. Today I'm better, much better and healing, and it's time. And I don't believe in death. I think death is a transition. And the longer I've studied, and which has been close to 45 years or so on spiritual things, the more I'm convinced it's a transition. I've had so many people come through to me, and things happen to me, and some beautiful things happen that I know there's more than this. But anyway, there's so much stuff going on. But I was thinking about something this morning. I hope they don't plan, well, not that there's going to be a plan, but there might be from the Democratic side. The Democrats really don't want any Elizabeth Warrens or Bernie Sanders getting in there. They're not in that camp. They don't want nothing changed. They want it to go just like it was during Biden and Obama's time. And there's nothing wrong with Biden and Obama, except we don't need to go back there. That's what got us Trump. So they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to change things. The ones that's been in there forever, like I say, feeding at that trough, they don't want to lose any of their donors. So they're really against Medicare for all. So they're really against Elizabeth Warren, and they're against Bernie Sanders. Now, the way they're dealing with Bernie Sanders is they're not talking about him, and they're not mentioning him on any of the news medias or anything. They go above him, below him, around him. If Biden falls down to third place, they come on and talk about him being below Elizabeth Warren. Or anyway, When I first heard that they were doing this, I thought it was ridiculous, but I've been watching them do it daily for the last 3 weeks since it was brought to my attention, and it is totally ridiculous, but that's nothing I can change. But am wondering, they're the 2 senators that would be in the House if there's going to be an impeachment. They're both senators. When the Democrats vote in to impeach Trump, and then they're going to send it to the Senate, well, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders would have to be there. And is that going to be right during the Iowa caucus? When everybody, that's the most important one there is, the starting one. And is that going to be set up purposely? So is that why I'm even wondering if that's why she pushed it back, so she might have some control over this, because they do not want them in at all. And right now, they're not so much against Warren, they're not going for her, but they're not really against her really big, because they figure that she's better than Bernie, and if they can just not mention him while they're talking a little bit of good about her, then if something happens that he's out of there because he don't win, although if you look at all the donations and everything else, he's way ahead. They're not talking about it on the news, but he is. But maybe they figure if he does end up getting sidetracked where he can't get in there, then they'll come against her with a venom. And that's why they're pushing their little golden boy, Buttigieg. They want him in there because he's taken all their big money. A couple of years ago, he was saying he would never be for anybody not having their medical bills paid. Well, now he's against Medicare for all because he's taken all that big pharma money and corporate money and stuff. It's amazing how their ideals just change and change as depending on where the money's coming from. And of course, when you go with Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, so far there's only small donations coming in. So that would be the best for the people, but that's why they decided to run that Bloomberg. Everybody's really happy about that because what is it? There's 500 billionaires or something, or maybe less. Was it 2,500 something? Very little compared to the rest of the United States. And they don't like the idea of losing their control, and they know they would lose control, especially if Bernie gets in there. They're more than likely to lose it if Warren gets in there. So Bloomberg, that's all they've been talking about on the news media the last 2 days, and everybody's all thrilled. But it's millionaires, big donor money, and they don't want to even have to help the small person a bit, even if they've got that tax that Elizabeth Warren, I think it was 1%, like that's 1 penny on a dollar for everything over $50 million. Well, that's a pretty good, whatever. I think I could afford to give 1%, maybe 10, maybe a lot more than that if I had more than that much money. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. But what I wanted to talk about, what I want to do some cards on is, I don't know why I keep dreaming about this. Like Murder Incorporated. And by saying that, I'm not saying that the people I'm going to read on had anybody murdered. What I'm saying is that they might have had something to do with the circumstances in which these people ended up getting murdered. So the first one I'm going to read on is Kushner, to see if he had anything to do with that Khashoggi getting murdered. When it happened, for some reason, I thought he was right in the middle of it, and I don't know why. Not that he told somebody to go out and do it, but I wonder what Khashoggi was working on. I wonder what they thought he was going to expose. And Kushner just jumped in there right away and started agreeing with it, almost like it was, maybe the Saudis weren't even the ones that done it, which everybody do. They had recordings of them sawing the body up. But anyway, let's just ask, did Kushner have anything at all Well, I don't. First, let's ask a quick one. Did he have anything to do? Was he some way, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. Was he some way connected to Khashoggi's murder? And I'm not saying like in there doing something. Well, it sounds like I am. I'm saying I know. Okay, let's ask if he knew beforehand that this could happen. Let's ask if he was dealing with something. Let's just ask if he was dealing with something that had something to do with him. Well, we got the Nine of Wands. Got the Nine of Wands here. And, yeah, the feeling that hit me the minute I turned this over was that he wanted to get something done, or there was some kind of deal he was making. And got the Nine of Wands. He didn't want to get involved, but it was something. I think he was involved some way. You can see this. It was like a. Maybe they didn't even tell him what was going to happen, but he was asked, he got a lot of money from that part of the world, and he was asked ahead of time if he would stand behind them, if he'd come out for him, if he'd come out to protect him. That's what I feel from the first card out here. That he felt like he was in big trouble, and he felt like the only way to move this and let him out of this big trouble was to say that he'd cooperate with anything they wanted to do or bring forward. And this, the influence over this is Trump. Now, that surprised me. Got the Emperor here. So we got the Nine of Wands. The influence over it is the Emperor. I wonder if we'll ever really know. I wonder if there was a bunch of money that went through towards the Trumps or for the Trumps or something set up with them in Saudi too. Before this ever happened, if they said they promised they'd stay out of it and wouldn't push it. Let's turn these around a minute. The foundation of this is the Ten of Wands. Another Wands. It took a lot of work behind the scenes from our side, from right around Trump's desk or whatever, because this was so out in the open and it was so bold. They were just working night and day trying to figure out how to spin this, and we remember that. We remember that. And it was really foolish to get involved or connected up in this. It was a foolish idea to start with for our government to get in on that in any way in trying to protect the Saudis over this murder. Maybe they didn't think it would be so out in the open. Maybe they didn't think it would be so, recorded. Who knows? But it was really a foolish thing to get involved in. And I really feel like before this is all over that this is going to come out. Maybe not in this hearing, but before when Trump's out of there and they start going through everything, I think it will definitely. I think Kushner is going to end up in jail. I think there's going to be some big things coming out about them being involved in that, and directly, some way. At least the cover-up. Being told ahead of time, maybe not even what the deed was going to be, but something was going to come up, and they wanted that backing. And the president now is Kushner's literally laying awake nights worrying about this. He knows that this is coming forward. He knows that this is coming forward, that he's involved in this stuff with the Saudis. Really deep. It's a really deep thing. It's not just on the surface. They're going to find out deeper information. And it's going to end up Kushner's going to end up going to jail before this is all over. And it may not be just about the loans. It may not. There's not even any money cards in here. It's more like deeds cards, weight carried for them. Anyway, we'll go back over that in a minute. But no, this isn't even about the money. This is deeds. And Kushner's feeling really tied down about this right now. If he could, he'd leave the country, but where are you going to go? Not that he couldn't. He could walk away from the White House tomorrow and leave the country, but where's he going to go? Where's he going to hide? There's no place to hide once you've got a end worldwide facial recognition like that. That's what he's thinking about. Can I get out of here with any money left and get out of here with any money left for my family? How am I going to work this? Something's coming forward really fast on this. I'm surprised to see this card in here. But some information is going to come out really fast on this. So don't be surprised if you start hearing about him more and him being involved with the Saudis. Even a lot deeper than we even thought. We knew he was involved with the money-wise, but I think he was involved in this cover-up. I think he had made a promise, him and Trump together, ahead of time, that no matter what they did, they were going to back him. And right now, he's just worried about his family. I don't think that he started even thinking about this, just really how much trouble he's in, and that he's probably more than likely going to jail, and how foolish it was to ever even go to them for money to start with. And right now, he's just worried about his family. And those are pretty self-explanatory, so we don't need to do any more on those. I want to thank anybody that's still watching this. I feel so guilty for being gone so long and not, having the energy to do this when I first got back. I really missed everybody. I didn't realize how much I loved reading the comments. That's another reason I read on this. I had some people ask me to read on this. And another one they wanted me to read on was, I guess things have gotten so bad, people just think that this whole group of people that's working with Trump and around Trump, that they're all everybody's worse, because the other people wanted to ask me if Barr had anything to do with Epstein's death, since he had went to visit the jail 2 or 3 days before it happened, and everybody just happened to show up not for work, and there wasn't no cameras in there, and there wasn't nobody in the cell with him, and I mean, it just really convenience there. They wanted to know if Barr had something to do with with Epstein's death. Not that he literally went in there and choked him, but he might have had something to do with other people going in there and choking him. Two of them, I think, is what came through when I first read on this. I felt like there was two people involved months ago. That's what I kept seeing, was two people. But what a thing to just come back and start reading. I was already depressed enough because my dear friend left this realm anyway. But anyway, let's didn't want to be morbid. Let's see if maybe Barr had something to do with emptying out the jail so they could get in there and get to Epstein before all this stuff hit, because you know that our dear leader was right in the middle of that. Right in the middle of it. Of all the truth that had came out, and this way they just turned it off. Maybe instead of asking that, well, let's go ahead. Was Barr involved in this? We're just going to do a quick one. Well, there's the chariot. It looks like he ran right in there to do something about it. We're just going to do 4 across here. Was Barr involved in it? He does feel a little bit trapped right now, like this information might come out. That if he loses his power, like walks away or something, and somebody else starts investigating this, that it could come out. It could end up putting him in jail. The challenge on this is the high priestess. This is a woman high in power. I don't know if it's a judge or Nancy Pelosi or whatever, but I think Barr's going to be subpoenaed to talk about something that may not, this may be the presidential stuff probably, since the president told him on that phone call to get a hold of Barr or Rudy. But anyway, I think he's going to be subpoenaed, and he's definitely worried about his future right now. He's really worried about his future. He's even seeing himself confined. So that's just yeah, he definitely went in there to get something done. Worried at the present because he got it done. The law's coming after him from somewhere, and since we were asking about Epstein's murder, and then at the same time, let me clarify, I'm not saying he murdered him. I'm saying he might have helped set up things where somebody could come in and do it. And he's worried about that coming out. He's really feeling God, I can feel his energy. He's feeling like he probably went too far already. It was bad enough when he came out and stifled that Mueller report for the first six weeks. But I think he's feeling really really worried at this time. I can feel his energy. He's literally almost afraid that he's going to get caught up right up in the middle of this, and there's a whole bunch of truth coming out. So who else? Okay. Another little thing I wanted to talk to you really quick about was Mike Pence. Now, it looks like on this impeachment deal, like he knew everything that was going on. He knew there was, I hate that quid pro quo deal, but he knew that there was bribery and fraud going on. And he knew it was illegal. Did try to distance himself from it. He was smart. And I think I talked about this in my last reading. The only way he's going to get out of this at all is if he's been wearing a wire or if he's been helping them. Unless he's been helping them, there is no way that Trump's going to let Pence become president. Even if he thinks there's a minus 0% or whatever, this 1/100% that Pence could go in there, he's gonna throw Pence under the bus, and for two reasons. One is because he don't want to, because he's like a spoilt 3-year-old brat, and he ain't about to go down and let Pence go up. But the other reason is because I'm sure the people around have already told him, because I've even heard it on the news programs, that they have to keep Pence in there for some reason. He can't get in trouble because they couldn't put Nancy Pelosi in there, because that's the way the order's set up, that if the president and vice president go down, the Speaker of the House automatically takes over. And of course, if that was still that Yahoo, what's his name, Ryan, God, what an asshole. Talk about a narcissist. And whatever, but anyway, if he was still Speaker of the House, then maybe Trump wouldn't feel like he had to throw Mike Pence under the bus so much. But, well, he didn't like him either. But anyway, I've heard him even say on all these other news programs that there is no way that Nancy Pelosi could become the interim president because because she wasn't from the party that was elected in. Well, maybe she wasn't from the party that was elected in when Trump was elected, but they were damn sure elected in 2 years later. And everybody that had a brain in their head that was into politics knew that they ended up getting rid of Trump and Pence at the same time, that the Speaker of the House is the next one in line for the presidency. So that should make no difference whatsoever. The party should have nothing to do. It was been set up for ever since the Constitution was set up. So I wonder, even these supposedly big scholars, big Republican and Democrat scholars that's been writing all the books and doing all the law for years, I've heard them sit on MSNBC and CNN and say, oh, well, that couldn't happen. She couldn't be an interim president because she's not a Republican. But what's that got to do with the price of tea in China? I can't see that it's got anything to do with it. So anyway, just a quick one across here. Is Trump going to let, if Trump thinks he's going down, okay, I'm trying to figure out the right way to word this. If Trump knows he's going down, is he going to put Pence under the bus no matter what, thinking it would save him? Because nobody wants Pelosi in there, and they keep saying it wouldn't work, although it would work just like it's supposed to work. I don't understand all these new rules that all these Republicans keep making up. Even if they're ex-Republicans like Joe and Mika or whatever, supposedly ex-Republicans, they come up with this stuff out of the blue, like just pulling it out of their ass. But anyway, let's see. Okay, let's just do a reading on Pence. It's the best way to do this. Is Pence going down? We know if Trump doesn't go down, it's not because he shouldn't. It's just, who knows? But is Pence, if Trump goes down, is Pence going down too? Boy, this is a popular card. Here we are with the 9 of Wands. It looks like they're all afraid they're going to go to prison. So this is on Pence. Yeah, Pence worried about being put in jail. But has he been wearing a wire? What's been going on? Oh, wow. Well, whatever he was planning or whatever he had in his head that he thought was going to happen, it's not going to go like he wants it. It's not going his way. It looks like he is going under the bus totally. Probably even ahead of Mulvaney. But Trump's going to make sure that if he goes down, that Pence goes with him. There ain't going to be no way, other way. And the foundation of that's the law. And the law is, I'm sure he's involved in this, right up to his little rosy red cheeks. But I'm thinking that maybe they've had him wired up or something, because he's known he was in the middle of this for a long time. I'm thinking he might have been helping with doing some recordings or whatever. Before this is all over, I think we're going to find out that some people from the Secret Service or the FBI or something's had some people in there with wires or something, because I think they've been as terrified as the rest of the world about what's going on. Yeah, Trump is definitely, I'm not Trump, Pence is definitely going away, or maybe that's thinking if Trump went away, he'd come in there. Let's see if we're doing Pence. He's going away. He's been getting paid for something, or they're going to find out that he's been getting paid for something. There's some money involved here some way. Maybe it's from the Mercers, who knows? But this is a woman with the money. Queen of Pentacles. There's going to be some news coming out about this. And it's not going to be a long time off. This stuff's all going to hit so quick that we're not even going to be able to wrap our brains around it. We're not even going to be able to catch up with it. It's all going to hit so quick. There's going to be some news, something to do with Pence being right in the middle of this. Got the Hierophant here at the bottom, but it still doesn't say on any of these cards whether he's been secretly helping out. We do have the Page of Wands, so there is some messaging going on there. Whatever's going on, we're going to find out about it right away. This is in the near future. I don't know. The Happy Family comes out in his 7th house, and that's himself and what's going on inside himself. So maybe he it looks to me like maybe he has been wearing a wire and taking notes and right in the middle of some of these investigations. Remember, I did a reading on him a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling you that I could feel his anticipation. He was already anticipating maybe getting the presidency. But whatever it is, the situation around it, this is the same thing as it was before. It's like he's anticipating this, because that's what he's always wanted. And ever since, as soon as he got in there, he knew that Trump was batshit crazy, so he thought maybe he could get in there. But he's laying awake nights worrying. So he's really, really, even if it's not just in this stuff to do with Ukraine, not Ukraine, to do with, anyway. Yeah, and I guess it is Ukraine. Even if it's not just that stuff, he's in with so much other stuff that he's really worrying about whether he's going to be able to pull this off. The people and things around him, things that he's done, he knows that could come out. He's not sure that's going to protect him. And he also knows that Trump's a jealous person. He's not going to just let him in there. He's still got a lot of strong hopes. He's got a lot of strong hopes that he's going to end up being our next president. And we got the victory card here. We got the wands. The 6 of Wands for the outcome. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, according to these cards, Trump could get impeached. Literally impeached, even by the Senate. And if he does, Trump, it looks like Pence is going to be able to step in there. I don't know what they're going to hold back on him, put out, or whatever, but it looks like he may end up in that position, at least for the next year until the election. He's not going to get elected to it, but he might. But it sure looks like he could be right in the middle of this. Looks like he's gonna, even with all this worrying, we'll go back over these. He feels kind of like he's in jail. He's not quite sure what's going on. He knows what he's been doing. Got a broken heart here. But it is the 3 of hearts, so I guess it could be like whoever gets the presidency, it's not going to be easy. The law's in the middle of this, so I think he's definitely been helping with this. I think he's been helping. Strap slipping down here. He's definitely been helping the law in some way. He's still worrying about whether him or Trump's going to have to walk away. He's thinking pretty close. He's already realizing that he thinks that the stuff that they've got on Trump, and probably some of maybe this stuff that's going to come out in this impeachment, he thinks that somebody's walking away, and I don't think he thinks it's him. There is some money matters of his that they might have to cover up and hide to get him in there. There's information going to be coming out really quick about whether somebody's been wearing a wire or something. This information's coming out pretty quick. Well, everybody's been waiting on pins and needles for 3 years, and now everything's hitting so fast. It's going to hit so fast that we're just not even going to know what's happening. And he's still worried about it. He thinks he's got the presidency, and he thinks he's got it in his grasp, but he's still laying awake at night worrying about a bunch of stuff he did that he knew he shouldn't have done. If they do go through with this impeachment, it's going to take all of his strength, because he doesn't. He doesn't get his strength from the right place. But he does come out the winner, so don't be surprised if Pence doesn't end up being our president until election time. I think that's what's going to happen. I really do. Anyway, I've probably been on here too long. I think I'm going to come back and turn that off and turn it back on, come back and do another one on who else is going under the bus, because there's a bunch of them. It looks like they're getting ready to put Mulvaney right at the bottom. He's going to be the first to be thrown. But anyway, I want to thank anybody and everybody who's watching this, and I want to thank anybody and everybody that's ever donated to my channel or got a hold of me for a reading. And if you'd like a private reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. And anybody could send me any strength and energy, I could use it right now, because this was really a blow, losing this friend, since he was almost 17 years or 18 years younger than me. And I just assumed that every time I talked to this man, since I met him 5 years ago, and it was quite a bit because we traded massage several times a month, and he was a friend. He came over and I fixed dinner and stuff like that. I was always telling him, because he wasn't into politics at all, and he thought I was crazy to follow it, but I was always telling him, well, you're going to live a lot longer than me, and so in the next 15 or 20 years, you're going to look back on this and say, see, that crazy old lady was right. And here, I think that's why it's such a shock to me, is because he was younger than me and appeared so healthy. Of course, you can have a stroke at any age. So anyway, I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank everybody for any comments that you can send to me, and please let me know if there's something special you want me to read on, because there is so much stuff coming out. I just can't figure out. The minute I start to read on something, the question's been answered on TV or something's came through, but that changes every time somebody comes forward. And I am going to come back and do reading on about 3 more people to see how bad they're going to get kicked to the curb here. So good night. Bye everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I wasn't too morose. And so anyway, send me your positive, good energy. I've never asked for that before, but I would love to have some. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. Bye now.